Alright, working on this little 3-horse Briggs again, and I got the carb all cleaned out inside and out, and I got all the parts. I got a rebuild kit, and you know, I was looking at this this diaphragm that came out, and this diaphragm that came out is, you know, it's still flexible and it's in very good shape, you know. So I think I'm just going to go back with that one, put that one back in, because the jet was brand new too. Somebody had tried to rebuild this carb, or at least just try to change the diaphragm not too long ago, because like I say, it's almost brand new, and it'd be a shame just to waste a carb kit for nothing. So I got the carb kit, got the one pickup tube, you know, we'll modify that and put that where it belongs, and got the choke, brand new choke for it and everything. So, and even the inside here, I took the inside and wire wheeled it and got all the rust out, and painted it with Rust-Oleum brown primer there. So that's in good shape. And got the recoil spring for it and everything all ready to go in. And I'm thinking, you know, it's got all these new parts and everything, and if I put it for sale looking like this, you know, it's going to look like the whole thing is garbage. So now the dilemma we have is paint it or not. So I'm thinking wire wheel it and throw a quick paint job on it. Even the block, you know, I mean, it's just about down to the block. Take the muffler off and the flywheel, you know, clean it up. I don't even know if I'll wire wheel it down to bare metal, you know, but just clean it up and freshen it up a little bit. Because the gas tank was painted. I had to paint that. That was bare metal, you know. So with all this new stuff on it, you know, what's another $5 can of paint, right? It's the only, it's probably the only color I don't have in stock. So, alright, so I think what I'll do is, I probably won't show you guys, but I'm going to wire wheel this down the metal, prime it and paint it, same with the engine, and then while that's all drying and stuff, we'll put the carb together. Alright? Alright. Alright, I wire wheeled and primed the housing, and while I was doing that, I figured I'd come in and get the tins off of the engine here. You know, when they painted these engines, you know, they just did it for beauty, you know, just one color and get rid of it. And they never primed them, and they never even put paint on the back here, you know. Any surface that didn't get hit with paint after the engine was assembled, you know, it was just bare metal. So I figured while I took all these off, I might as well take the head off and look at it. I really didn't want to go this far into this engine, but it looks like somebody might have been in here before, because there would be more carbon on here. And it looks like they might have honed the cylinder. I don't know about honing the aluminum, but just by looking at the cross hatches and stuff. But that looks in good shape. The valves are in excellent condition. No play at all. So I think it'll be a good engine. Even this, I'm not going to take this down to bare aluminum. You know, I'm just going to wash it down, clean it up, and give it a top coat. So, alright, like I said, I didn't want to get this far into it, but hey, we're here, right? Alright, I'm going to do this, and I'm probably not going to show you guys any of the painting and everything, because, you know, I didn't want this to be a 5-6 part series. I just wanted it to be, you know, put some gas in it and go. So, that's where we're at. Alright, it's the next day. Yesterday was nice. I painted it all up. I cleaned it and painted it all up. I wasn't going to take down the bare aluminum, but when I cleaned it, it actually took all the paint off it, so it was taking down the bare aluminum. So it's a lot of white there. You know, I painted the gas tank about a week ago, and I'm kind of glad. You know, I painted it. They call that stainless steel. It's like a silvery gray. You know, that'll take away from some of the white. So I'm going to throw this back together again, and then we'll come over here and work on your carburetor for you. Get that back together. Alrighty. Alright, let's get back to the carburetor here. What we got to do is put this little suction tube on here. That goes right in this hole here. And what most people do is they take brake line or something like that. I got a brass tube here, and I was going to put it on there. I got one that almost fits. Brake line's a little small, but then I'm thinking it's got to go inside this thing here. You know, you actually going to cut this off and push that on and fit it. What was on there was this, which was a pretty clever idea. I got the guy working and stuff. You know, it's one of those stone filters, and this is the original fitting up here. But only need 5 inches. You know, so I'm thinking, you know, I could use the brass tube, but then it might be a little thick when I send it in there. I'm not sure. I won't know till I cut this off. But I do have a small piece of brake line. Like I said, it's what most people use. Even a couple guys suggested it in one of the comments, but it's common knowledge. So what I'll do is I'll cut off a piece of that brake line and see how it fits. And then I'll probably wind up putting it in there. There's a little bit of a taper, and it is going to be wobbly. You know, let me see. I do have a piece of brass here, and I can't get it to hook in there yet. You see that? But like I say, I'm going to cut a piece of brass. We only need about 5 inches. You know, that's about there. There. So you only actually going to need about 3.5 inches of tube. So let me work on that, and then we'll get back to you. Like I say, I'll probably put it in there and epoxy around it. That'll hold it in place. Alright, I got this tube on here. It looks a little funky, but it'll do the trick. It's epoxied in here and even super glued down here and stuff, so it'll be fine. Now I gotta figure out how to put this thing back together. I gotta find a place for all these parts to go. So, anybody remember how it works? Alright, I'm gonna put the old diaphragm back in because that thing was just about brand new. And new choke. And alright, I'm gonna try and put it back together, and we'll put it back on the tank. Alright, we got the carburetor all back together and hooked up, and no spare parts. This here's the housing and the air cleaner, so that's good. If you remember when we had to crush the old gas cap to get it out, so since this thing looks so nice, I even got a brand new hot dog on it and hot dog muffler. I had 2 of these in stock, and we'll give it this new one actually, because this one here is like twice the weight. That's an original Briggs, so we'll give it this one from Taiwan. I don't even have to paint it. Alright, I guess the next thing, I haven't cleaned the filter in this. I didn't give it a new one, but I cleaned it. Alright. I don't exactly know which way this goes. Could go that way. Could go this way. I'm gonna put it this way. Yeah, because it ain't gonna go this way. Or that way. So it's either this way or this way, and I'm going to go with this way. So, alright. Next thing we'll do is we'll put the spring in the pull start. I'll give it a new rope, new handle, and then we'll put this baby to sleep. We'll start it up and be done with it. Alright. I know somebody's going to ask why you painted the bolts black. Actually, they're not black. Anything that was rusted, wire wheeled, and brought it down to metal. I don't know if you see this. This here was rusted too. But anything that was rusted was brought down to metal, and then a little coat of shellac was put on it. So that coat of shellac actually makes it look black. Let's just keep it from rusting. All right, let's continue. All right, let's finish this up here. Put the starter in. We got the spring for it. I got some, I put new rope on it, so now what we're going to do is clean this up and clean that up. And they come with instructions, and it's funny because some of it varies from what the book says, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to go buy the book. And any of you guys interested in the older engines, this is probably the best book to get. This one here goes all the way back to 1919. It's for the older stuff. And then the other ones, you know, Briggs always did a great job of their service manual, so they pretty much tell you anything you want to know on any engine. So it's Good to get them if you're going to work on these. But anyway, it might sound a little different because I got a little bronchitis, a little laryngitis, a little stuffed head, but it doesn't matter. Don't worry about me. This is more important. We got to get this done. Alright, let me clean this up and we'll get started. Alright, I cleaned up pretty well. So now what we got to do is got to uncoil this whole thing. And be careful, you know, I mean, it even says right on here. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it says danger. And they tell you uncoil it from the inside. They got this thing coiled in here tighter than 2 coats of paint, if you know what I mean. So I should have a different pair of gloves on. But just take your time and take it out. You know, because if this gets away from you, it'll slice you up. Believe me. Alright, I'm going to take this apart and then clean it up. And then we'll get back to you. Alright, we got the spring in. What I did was I hooked it to the black thing and then just sent it in through the hole here and then made sure it locked in. Now what we're going to do is I made this little thing here when I was a baby. I used to work on these engines. It's 3/4 by 3/4 square. You can just use a square piece of thing. Anything will work. But that'll hook right into here. And then what you want to do is tighten this all the way up. I don't know if you can still see. Keep tightening it until it stops, and then you back off until that little hole there where my finger's at. I'll get it better look at there for you. Well, that hole is where the string goes through, and you send the string through, bring it through here, and pull it and tie a double knot on it while it's under tension. Some guys will get a clamp or a vice grips or something and hold it in place while they do that, but it's really not that tough. So let me do that. And what I use is 1/8 inch braided nylon and melt the ends there so it doesn't unravel on you. I think they call that number 4 cord. So let me do that. I'm going to wind it up and stick the cord through there, and then we'll go from there. Alright, we got the that's in there so tight. Alright, we got the rope in here. Here's our knot. Now I'm just going to release this clamp. I'm going to keep tension on the rope here and get my clamp off of here. And then just let it reel itself back in. Where you at? I'm letting it reel in. Alright, I'm tied up here with my bag, so let me untangle that. Alright, that stopped, so I'm going to pull this cord out until I find a good tension. Right there's good tension. That'll pull the cord back. So what I'll do is I'll make a mark there with my little magic marker here, and then just pull it out. Put some vice grips on here so it don't go back in. That way I could cut this. Oh wow, I grabbed the wrong pair of pliers for that, huh? Okay. Wow, I got a wheel ease. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we'll melt the end here. That'll keep it from unraveling. Watch your fingers and make a point out of it. Alright. Now what we're going to do is stick it through this ratty old handle that I found and tie a double knot in this here and tuck it in there, and we should be okay. I'll show you that when we're done. Alright, get that all done. Got a rope on here, rope starter. Alright, on the plastic ones like this, they tell you not to grease these little things, these little tabs, hold them down. And they say keep them like a 1/16 of an inch off of the plastic. The metal ones, they tell you put a dab of grease. But there is a hole. I don't know how well you guys can see it there, but there's a little tiny little hole there. And we're just going to stick some 3-in-1 oil in there. That'll oil that spring up, keep it from rusting a little bit. Even on the sides, I'll give it a little bit, but they tell you to oil that. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll put it on our little machine here and bring it outside and start it, but that ain't gonna happen until tomorrow because it's about midnight right now and it's raining like hell out there. So alright, we'll see you tomorrow. You'll see it on the same tape, but I won't see you till tomorrow. Alright, enough of this. Let's give it a whirl. This isn't a cold start. I already messed with it and started with it, and you know, it wasn't that easy to start, and the handle's in an odd position. I'm up too high here, so I almost got to start it like this with my hand under here. So let's give it a try. Almost a little choke. It likes the higher idle better. Alright, well there you go. At least it don't smoke. Seems to be a good little engine. Let me get you off here, we'll take a look at it. Put the tilt switch on here. Alright. Next.